Vegas, Utah State, and UNLV, two teams going in opposite directions. Who will prevail under the lights in Sin City? Our Saturday Overdrive rolls on from Las Vegas, where tonight the Utah State Aggies visit the UNLV Runnin' Rebels right here on CBS Sports Network. A look at the updated standings in the Mountain West, and already a wild day with Wyoming prevailing in overtime against New Mexico. It's clear that this Mountain West is wide open this season. And with that, we welcome you to the Thomas and Mack Center alongside former Duke assistant Chris Patola. I'm Andrew Catalon. Utah State was picked to finish 10th in the preseason Mountain West poll, but the Aggies are already off to a 4-2 start, and they'll see a very hungry UNLV team tonight. The Rebels have dropped 3 in a row.
They have. Good news is UNLV gets back. Good luck, Okanobo, who's out last game with that plantar fasciitis. He and Christian Wood make up one of the best shot-blocking duos in the country.
He'll come off the bench. We'll see how many minutes he gets as we take a closer look at these two teams in our AT&T Fast Analysis.
When UNLV has struggled this year, it's because they have not rebounded and they turn it over. You see, they've lost 6 of 7. Their last game against New Mexico, they lost on an offensive rebound. And in the case of Utah State, they are red hot from behind the arc, shooting 50% in conference. It's because nobody shares the basketball better than they do.
The Aggies look to make a statement on the road in Las Vegas. It's Utah State and it's UNLV, and it's coming up next right here on CBS Sports Network.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by the all-new LG G3.
Beautiful January evening here in Las Vegas as we're moments away from tip-off between Utah State and UNLV. And just moments ago, real nice tribute here done on court at Tarkanian Court at the Thomas and Mack Center. There's Stu Morrill, who announced earlier this year this would be his final season, and he received a nice present from one of his former assistants, UNLV head coach Dave Rice. Rice was there during the 2004-2005 season, so a nice hand from the fans here at the Thomas and Mack for longtime Utah State head coach Stu Morrill. As we take a look at the starting lineups tonight, normal 5 for Utah State. A change, though, for UNLV. As we mentioned, Good Luck Okanobo will play. However, he'll come off the bench, and Jalon Kendrick, the senior, will start. So a bit of a smaller lineup tonight for the Runnin' Rebels for Dave Rice, and now his 4th season on the UNLV bench as the head coach. Of course, the former Rebel player and longtime assistant as well. Trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. UNLV just 1-5 in the Mountain West. Tonight's officials, Bob Staffen, Chris Rastetter, and Jimmy Casas. A combined 33 NCAA tournament games, so a veteran crew here in Las Vegas. Wood and Collette to jump it off, and we are set to go as our Saturday Overdrive continues on CBS Sports Network. UNLV controls the opening tip.
You see a lot of defenses from both these teams tonight, Andrew. You're going to see some zone. Utah State starting in a man.
Christian Wood fires one underneath to Kendrick for 2, and a great look from the sophomore Christian Wood.
Kendrick put in there into that lineup, I think, mostly for defense, to be able to match up to these shooters on Utah State.
As Chris highlighted already, Utah State very dangerous shooting the 3, number 1 in the Mountain West. Collette had it stripped, and a turnover by the Aggies. Wood. Utah State wanted to travel, they don't get it. Still a little smoky in here from the pregame fireworks show they do during the lineups. Vaughn, corner 3, booking.
He was out here 2 hours before the game, working on his game. And I'll tell you, for a freshman, his work ethic, he has come in and has been terrific in scoring a lot of ways.
And in every game since the adoption of the three-point line, UNLV has made a three-point shot. Another turnover by Utah State. Wood, he can shoot from deep. This one won't go, but Kendrick with an offensive rebound. However, he turns it over, and now Moore in transition. Moore, nice dish to Collette. And Utah State's on the board.
That was, and how about Collette just following the play. Moore heads up, instinctively know he's back there. And here you see the zone, Andrew. It's Stu Morrill calls it a 1-1-3.
Doolin trying to bust the zone. He's been really struggling with his shot, and Utah State clears.
And that's the shot that's going to be open. Those two guards at the top play in tandem. That's why it's a 1-1-3, and that's the shot, that 45-degree angle that's going to be open.
We spoke with Stu Morrill before the game, and we asked him about the zone and said it's very confusing when you're watching tape to try to pinpoint how it works. And he goes, it's just as difficult to coach it sometimes with young players as Collette finishes inside. Collette is 6th in the Mountain West, shooting 54% from the floor. And a good sign here for UNLV is Good Luck Okinobo has gone to the scorers table. He'll check in next whistle. Vaughn, another three. UNLV has taken 5 shots, and 4 of them have been from deep.
Vaughn, a guy UNLV beat out Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas to get him. He was highly recruited. Like we said, he can score in a variety of ways.
And McDonald's All-American, played 1 year at Findlay Prep here in Nevada, but a native of Minneapolis. And he's the team's leading scorer, averaging better than 17 points per game. And Vaughn with a quick 6 here early in the first half.
And he's 3rd in the conference. And for an 18-year-old, he really has a mature game. Especially off the ball, you see him moving along the baseline.
Another three-pointer. This one won't go down for Vaughn. 8-4 in favor of the Rebels. Perkins for 3, in and out. And the rebound to Vaughn. UNLV coming off a heartbreaking loss Wednesday at home here against New Mexico, and Jordan Goodman tipped one in with 9 seconds to go. UNLV has had some tough losses. It's a young team that is still trying to grow together, especially in the big moments late in games. Vaughn, another 3. He's not shot.
No, he's not.
Perkins inside, and a foul is called. Rashad Vaughn has already taken 3 threes. He's hit a couple of them, and UNLV is out to an early lead here in Las Vegas. Our Saturday Overdrive continues here in Las Vegas with UNLV out to an 8-4 lead on Utah State as we take a look at some of Chris Spatola's keys to the game.
Well, Utah State, they've struggled on the glass this year. They got a -9 rebounding margin. They've only out-rebounded 2 teams this year, Wayland Baptist and San Jose State. So they're going to have to play it even on the glass. Then we've talked about defending that three-point line. If you're UNLV, Utah State shooting so well, 50% in conference. And we asked Stu Morrill before the game about that rebounding, and he said, look, we've emphasized it, we've practiced it. We're just a little thin up front, and it's something that these young guys are going to have to get accustomed to doing. Finishing possessions with that defensive rebound.
You were very polite when you asked him about the rebounding. You said, you know, traditionally you've had very good rebounding teams, not as much this year. And his response was, not as much. This is a nightmare. Yeah. He says, we practice it all the time. It's not a lack of effort. We just can't rebound the basketball, as Perkins knocks in the first free throw.
I was trying to be political. The last thing you want to do is tell a coach right before the game, hey, look, you're getting killed on the glass this year. What's the deal?
Yes, you covered it up nicely, but he was the one that gave us the nightmare quote. Perkins 2 for 2, a 63% free throw shooter. Vaughn has actually already taken 4 threes in this game. He's 2 for 4, and it's a 2-point UNLV lead.
You know, part of the rebounding stuff for Utah State could be a zone, a little bit harder to rebound out of, but their opponents this year have attempted 107 more field goals than they have, and a lot of that has to do with just giving extra chances on those offensive boards.
McCall launches from deep. UNLV continues to fire away from long range. They're now 2 out of 7 from deep. expected it to be the other way around. Utah State taking more threes.
Well, we talked that zone that's the shot. You watch that 45-degree angle. That's the shot that's open.
And Collette stepped on the line. Another turnover by Utah State. That's their second.
Just trying to go on that spin, a little too quick. And
yeah,
he didn't look
close.
Yeah, he didn't look out to me. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be a little too smoky in here still. The pyro show.
UNLV caught a break there. Jordan Cornish just checked in for the Rebels. He can shoot from deep as well. Doolin left open from deep, and it goes down. Much needed shot for Cody Doolin, who was scoreless in Wednesday's loss against New Mexico.
And that's what you have to do, play inside out against the zone. Moving it around the perimeter into your shots, not as effective as hitting that middle and kicking out for threes.
Chris, UNLV has taken 9 field goal attempts, 8 from three-point range. Doolin drives and is swatted. Collette got a hand on that one. Bit of a choppy start for the Aggies. Collette can't finish down low, tipped up and in.
In their last game, UNLV was outscored in the paint 38-16 against New Mexico. And so they've given up threes, but they have also been dominated in that paint.
It was a very different UNLV team from a year ago when they had Kem Birch and Roscoe Smith plugging the middle. It's a smaller team this year with a lot of youth, but the future is bright with some of these freshmen like Cornish, who misfires from deep, out of bounds to UNLV.
And what's crazy about being scored on in the paint like that, Andrew, is there's only 2 teams in the country who have blocked more shots than UNLV this year, Kentucky and Texas. So they're protecting their rim. Teams are just either offensive rebounds or layups.
Kendrick will take a jumper. A little too strong, and the rebound down to JoJo McGlaston. Utah State also returning no starters this year. Just like UNLV as Vaughn steals it. Vaughn comes in one-on-one, and he's not able to get it to go. Elston Jones rips down the rebound. Moore from deep. Jones the offensive board, and a foul is called against Goodluck Okinobo. Utah State averaging just 31 total rebounds per game. But you see what the opponents are doing. They're allowing 40 boards. So if you do the math, it's 107 more shots for the opposition.
And so it doesn't matter how you're defending. If you're not finishing those defensive possessions with a rebound, you're killing yourself.
Counted and the foul. Impressive move by Chris Smith.
Chris Smith has been so good for them. He does a little bit of everything. He's been a good surprise, the junior college player. You see here, just a tough finish. And going glass on us here, Andrew.
And played for 2 years at Yuba Community College in California. Finishes off the three-point play. He's averaging 11 points per game.
He has. He's been a good surprise. Finishing through contact. See, once the ball goes to a wing, it becomes a 2-3 zone. They just put the guards in tandem when the ball's up top.
McCall trying to drive through traffic. He's able to dish it over for the finish by Dwayne Morgan.
What a find underneath. It looked like there should have been a call or something on McCall, but a nice delivery underneath.
It looked like he may have taken too many steps.
Yeah, there was something there.
Smith trying to answer. High arcing shot, no. And another rebound by Dwayne Morgan. Freshman out of Baltimore. Now Cornish draws contact, and he'll go to the line. Jordan Cornish will shoot two when we come back. 11:59 to go, and UNLV leads by 2.
Welcome back to Las Vegas. UNLV up 2. We wanted to show you this last play. Patrick McCall into the paint, and this is clearly a travel. Here, the zone defense, freeze it. The guard comes from here, part of the zone to keep the ball out of the paint. The guard does a nice job dropping down here, and this is a travel, folks. And what the officials do is they're going to do that up and down hand motion, signaling a bobble. But the offense gains an advantage there on a nice defensive play. Patrick McCall, the son of a coach, plays through the travel, finds his teammate underneath, but that is a travel, and it's not called. The officials, I think a lot of times, Andrews, they bail out with that bobble, and it punishes the defense.
Yeah, I agree. When we saw it right initially, we thought something's not right here, and it should have been a call, and it wasn't. Instead, it's 2 points for UNLV. If you talk to the people associated with this UNLV program, especially Dave Rice, they are very high on Patrick McCall. Into the starting lineup now, making his 4th start, and the future is bright for the freshman out of St. Louis. Wood inside, and he finishes.
I'll tell you what, I mean, if you're going to design the prototype player, Christian Wood is that. He has size at 6'11", he's got length, and he's uber talented. He's just got to be consistent.
During that timeout, the ref said that Cornish was not in the act of shooting on that last call before the media timeout, so it was a foul on the floor and not shots for Cornish. And a turnover by Utah State. Numbers for the Rebels. Cornish lays it in.
What a nice play. And the UNLV, a team that has struggled to score in the half court, but you see there how effective they can be in transition.
Rebels lead by 6, and there are 4 Aggies at the scorer's table set to check in next whistle. Smith is all alone, and instead of taking the easy 2, he tried to draw contact, and now he's got to go to the line.
Here's Christian Wood in the post. I mean, this is tough to guard. Over the double team. Christian Wood so talented, and then here, turning defense into offense, the unselfish pass. And again, if you can score in transition, you don't have to play against that Utah State zone.
Smith at the line for 2 shots. He's been in double figures 10 times this year. And now mass substitutions for Utah State. And Utah State early on 0 of 3 from three-point range.
What did Dave Rice tell us, Andrew, at the shoot-around? He said, the thing that concerns me the most is the three-point shooting. They spent that whole shoot-around chasing shooters off that three-point line. Problem is, on that last possession there, a little defensive mistake underneath, losing Chris Smith.
4th season at UNLV for Dave Rice, 81-41 record. Received a 5-year contract extension in the offseason when South Florida was chasing after Rice. We have a whistle away from the ball, and that's going to go against Jordan Cornish.
Dave Rice was telling us, too, he wants this program to be a man-to-man defensive program. They've played a ton of zone this year, which I think is a little bit out of character. But he told us tonight we're going to see a lot more man just to be able to guard and defend those perimeter shooters.
Cornish has to come out of the game with 2 fouls. McCall is back in for the Rebels. Glaston has to go all the way back to chase that one down. Glaston, and before the shot, a push on McCall. It's already the 7th team foul on UNLV, so a 1-and-1 situation for Utah State.
And this is the problem. This is where they've struggled in the man, is they can't keep teams out of their paint, and they've had trouble guarding off the dribble. Once you put your hand on that offensive player, that's going to be a foul.
It's actually the 6th team foul, so the next one will send Utah State to the line. But Glaston with the athletic putback.
And only 1 foul on Utah State, so the zone has kept them out of that foul trouble. And as you said, Utah State now shooting 1-1.
Doolin. And he turns it over. Perry the other way, one-on-one with Vaughn. Perry can't finish, and Wood corrals the rebound. Now Vaughn pushes up ahead. Does not have numbers. And now Doolin will slow things down to Vaughn. Vaughn from three. It's good.
I'll tell you what, man.
His third three of the night.
He plays with a ton of confidence. He has come in ready to fire. He was, right? He was out here 2 hours before just working on his jump shot. He had a manager out here rebounding for him, was getting after it.
Collette spins inside for two. What was interesting was we were both watching Rashad Vaughn early on this afternoon. He was taking some real deep threes. You don't see guys practice those a lot, but he was. So he's got a lot of confidence here today. Already made 3 of them. A 4-point game. Vaughn, another three. That one partially deflected, but Morgan scoops it up and lays it in.
Morgan, an energy guy, another terrific athlete on this UNLV team, and another freshman.
First second chance points for UNLV tonight. Blasted, trying to get position inside. And traveling is called. Turnover number 5 on Utah State. We'll get the fastest scores and updates for Utah State, UNLV, and all teams with the CBS Sports app. It's the fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app now.
A lot of scores from today to be updated. Fun day in college hoops.
And no doubt about it, some wild games. We already mentioned the New Mexico-Wyoming game. West Virginia and TCU in a wild one. Kendrick cuts, takes the pass, and a foul is called. That's going to go on Sean Harris. Just the second team foul.
Harris, a guy, first of all, he's first team all hair. He's got the high top fade. Nice looking cropped cut. But he's also 25 years old.
As Morgan knocks down the 2, Harris is a 6th-year senior. He's had both of his knees redone.
Be eligible for AARP here in a little bit.
Collette getting it done inside. He's already in double figures with 10 points.
Just a physical specimen. He plays hard, does David Collette. He's been a little bit up and down this year, but has been very good for them in conference.
The lob, and Vaughn could not finish. Nearly threw that one down. Perkins on the other end for 3, and there we go. Utah State's first triple of the night.
That is a window. Those 2 possessions, a window into UNLV this year. A high-flying play with a lot of potential on one end that comes up empty, that leads to offense on the other. And they are daring these UNLV perimeter players to shoot that shot up top.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Doolin, cross-court pass to Vaughn, and he puts it in. Great job by Vaughn to see the awareness of the Utah State defense, and a timeout is called for by UNLV.
That's the maturity. Rashad Vaughn, only 18 years old, a freshman, but so aware off the basketball. A lot of time guys are so focused, I'm going to be a scorer when I catch it. But a big part of being a scorer is what you're doing off of the basketball. And here, he just keeps moving throughout this possession. We'll see it swing around. Cody Doolin catches it in the corner, and all the defense is on this side of the floor. And here he comes from the backside, just moving without the basketball. I don't know how you can lose Rashad Vaughn, but they do in the finish.
And Vaughn already in double figures with 11 points. That was his first 2-point bucket of the night. And UNLV decided to call timeout up by 5 with 7:15 to play. Vaughn, the preseason freshman of the year in the Mountain West. Had a career-high 29 points earlier this year against the University at Albany.
There's already draft talk for him. There's a few guys on this UNLV roster who just you know, I don't like it, but they fit the prototype of what pro guys are looking for. Christian Wood being another one. I think both those guys, Vaughn and Wood, could use more time in college, but they certainly fit what the prototype is.
Okinobo got a hand on that one. Here comes Vaughn in transition to Kendrick. And an offensive foul is called on Jelon Kendrick.
It had to be with the off arm. I mean, I don't know about that, but here's the block shot. UNLV third in the country in blocking shots.
Our Saturday Overdrive rolls on here on CBS Sports Network with UNLV out to a 26-21 lead here in Las Vegas. Courtside with former Duke assistant Chris Patola. I'm Andrew Catalan. Impressive start out of the gate for Rashad Vaughn, who's firing away from all portions of this quarter, although he did just score on the inside. But you have to like what you see early on from the freshman.
Yeah, and he's never seen a shot he doesn't like, right? I mean, he's going to get it up there. He's really talented. He's third in the conference in scoring. He's got deep range. He can score at all three levels. He's got deep range. You see it there. We've seen him at the rim. And he's one of those guys. He's got good size at 6'6", 210. He fits that profile, was highly recruited. And you see the three-point field goals we thought for Utah State. It's been a big part of their offense coming in. But UNLV has gotten them up.
I want to keep an eye on a couple of stats tonight that we've already talked about. Rebounds is one, and early on, Utah State +3 on the glass. And UNLV turnovers is another one. That's what Dave Rice told us at shoot-around earlier today. We've got to cut down on the turnovers, averaging 14 per game at Mountain West Club. But early on, just 2 for the Runnin' Rebels. And a foul is called against UNLV. And that's going to go against Jelon Kendrick. And it will be a 1-and-1 for Utah State.
We've talked about how UNLV has lost a lot of close games, and if you're not rebounding the basketball and if you're turning it over, that's how you're going to lose those. You're giving up possessions to the other team, and they're possessions that UNLV can't afford to give up.
1-and-1 for Jalen Moore. Now, earlier, you put Sean Harris on the all-hair team. Is Moore a first-teamer or a second-teamer?
I think you've got to put them both on there because they're doing it differently, right? There are different ways to have that kind of hair. Look at that thing.
That's impressive. And Collette impressive inside. Had a couple of cracks at it but couldn't finish.
Harris going more with the kid and play, high top. And then Jalen Moore going more with the blowout. So there's different ways to do it, Andrew.
6.5 to go in the first. It's a 4-point game. Good ball movement here. McCaw from deep. Tipped out right to Doolin. Okinobo inside, and he's fouled going up.
And that's the problem. If you can't rebound, you're giving teams extra chances at your rim. In that possession, UNLV does a nice job moving the basketball, playing inside out. Okinobo doing a nice job playing on that short corner, kicking out to shooters, gets himself to the foul line.
Okinobo just 32% at the foul line this year. Well, tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern, join us for a personal conversation with Johnny Dawkins and hear about what life is like to play and coach at 2 of the top colleges in the country. Northwestern Mutual presents NCAA Men of March. Johnny Dawkins right here on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Okinobo's struggles at the free throw line continue.
32%. I don't know if it's struggles or more crisis mode. That is not good.
Collette with the big finish.
Well, he's been so good for them so far. There's been a force inside.
Doolin from deep. Dave Rice said Doolin needs to score more. Jalen Moore comes up short. But Doolin just one field goal attempt against New Mexico. What a play by Kendrick. Moore Howard chased him down from behind, fouled him, and Kendrick is still going to have a chance at 3.
They've shown you how good they are in transition. Here, the nice delivery, and when you run the floor like that, Jelon Kendrick, you're going to get some looks, and they have shown you the athleticism here tonight has UNLV. Jelon Kendrick, a guy who, a senior, junior college player, he's been very inconsistent for them. They took him out of the starting lineup, felt their future was more with Patrick McCaw. A nice finish there on the break.
Comes up short and the free throw, and it's 29-24. All you need to know about UNLV this year is that Kendrick is their top returning scorer from last season. He averaged 6 points per game. That's travels on the low block.
They're part of Collette tonight, the travel there, but they're playing behind him in the post, so they're allowing him to catch it. And he's done a nice job just playing off. He's moving without the basketball. You got to provide a little bit of resistance inside if you're Christian Wood.
Passes up on a 3, drives, and has it blocked by Moore. But Wood is able to get it back. And a fresh 35 for the Running Rebels.
There you go, right there. That's where the softness is. If you complete the pass, right at that foul line area, right in here is where the softness in the zone is. They got it in there, just can't complete the play.
Big night already for Collette. He's got a dozen on 6 of 8 shooting. Collette inside, and he travels again. Turnover number 7 by Utah State. Their last 3 games, they've been in single digits in turnovers, all 3, but 7 already tonight. And UNLV has turned those turnovers into 10 points.
That's one of the things Stu Morrill told us before the game. We haven't rebounded well, but we've really taken care of the basketball, and they've shared it. They had 22 assists and 26 field goals against Air Force. In conference, they're averaging 16 assists a game is Utah State.
Vaughn. Wild shot inside, was looking for a call, didn't get one. Inside 4 minutes to go in the first half. Corner 3, Perry, money. Just the second 3 tonight for Utah State, but they're only down 2.
Just nice sharing of the basketball, making one more pass to an open teammate in the corner. Funny, when you make the right pass, the percentage of the shots go up. It's just, you make the right play in a game of basketball, it's going to be a better offensive team.
Vaughn lost it again. Wood gets it back. Shot clock does not reset. There's 10 to shoot. Cornish fires and hits. Jordan Cornish, 18 out of 33 this year, shooting the 3.
You look pretty confident on that one.
No kidding. It's back up to a 5-point lead for UNLV. Lost it, but a whistle and a foul is called on the Rebels. It's going to go on to Wayne Morgan. David Collette doing all he can to keep Utah State in this one. He's got 12 points to lead the Aggies. They trail by 5. Our Saturday Overdrive featuring Utah State and UNLV. The Rebels lead by 5. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Dana Jacobson, my guys Steve Lapis, Seth Davis, and John Ralstein will get you caught up on all the scores, highlights, and all the latest news in college basketball. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half, and it's already been a crazy day. Some of the news and notes that Dana and the crew will be talking about include Kentucky remaining undefeated. Great game on CBS between Kansas and Texas, and the Jayhawks with a big win on the road. And how about Iowa State going down to Texas Tech?
Devonta Williams, Robert Turner having a big day for the Raiders. That's a big win. We know how well Iowa State's been playing. And how about, if you haven't seen Larry Nance Jr., folks, you need to check him out. He could be the Mountain West Player of the Year to this point. I think it'd be an upset if he wasn't. And how about the job Larry Shiat's done up there in Wyoming?
You know, John Rothstein, who you'll see coming up on AT&T The Half, tweeted a short time ago that the Mountain West, we kind of highlighted this early on, is just so wide open. That tournament, which is here in March, is going to be just a wild ride.
You know, Seth Davis just texted me. He said he wants to know why he's not your guy. You said that Lapis was your guy, and Seth said, well, what's the deal? Catalan, I mean, I'm not your guy. What is the deal?
Seth needs to come on the road with Coach and I and buy us a meal, and then he becomes my guy. That Mountain West tournament will be the only avenue for a lot of Mountain West teams to get in the big dance, including UNLV, the way they're playing now. And of course, they'll have the home court advantage for the Mountain West tournament. As Wood misfires, and it's really been a tale of two seasons for the Rebels. Such an impressive start in non-conference play. The incredible win over Arizona, which was ranked number 3 at the time, as 4 misfires. But since then, the Rebels have hit a rut. Gave it their all at Kansas. An impressive performance in terms of their effort and the way they hung around. But once they've hit Mountain West play, it's been a rocky road.
Well, and that's what happens with a young team. You know, good start. You know, did they hit the wall? Did they not? Are they a little fatigued? And then that's what conference play does to you. I mean, it exposes all your weaknesses and really can exacerbate those weaknesses, especially with a young team.
Well, that's the thing. You see the scores for the Mountain West games. UNLV has been in all these games.
Right.
It was the Boise State got a little bit away in overtime, but it still went to overtime. Of course, the 2-point loss to Nevada, 2-point loss on Wednesday to New Mexico. They were up late against San Diego State. They just have not been able to finish, as Vaughn is able to finish. And he'll go to the line and try to finish off a 3-point play.
He said he can do it at all 3 levels. And here he is, just attacking the rim. A nice shifting of the body around Sean Harris. It's a big-time finish right there. Take the contact, play through it, avoid the charge, and a nice touch off the glass.
So Vaughn already with 13 points.
It's the advanced game, Andrew. Again, only 18 years old, but just the maturity in his game beyond his years.
Gets it done at the line with 1:47 to play. It's 35-27 in favor of the running Rebels. This ties the largest lead for UNLV as Utah State tries to chip away at it with 90 seconds to go before they head into the locker room.
Well, and again, they have not hit any threes. It's all been stuff going to the basket, and if you're UNLV with the way they block shots, you can live with that.
Wood brings the ball up the floor, coast to coast. Look out for Christian Wood. Timeout, Stu Morrill. And UNLV has its largest lead at 10.
This is 6-11 right here. He takes it from one end to the other. Here's the hesitation, whoop, and right by him. And I do not know what kind of defense Darius Perkins was playing here. He kind of stands up to try to take a charge. And Christian Wood, big time finish right there.
It's an 8-0 run for UNLV with 1:05 to play. And we chatted with Dave Rice earlier today about Christian Wood, and he said the biggest thing now is that teams are being more physical with Christian Wood down low, and it's frustrated him. And what he needs to do, in Dave Rice's eyes, is sustain that effort throughout the course of 40 minutes. Don't let a couple guys pushing you around get you down, and that's something he's been trying to work on with Christian Wood.
Well, that's what the scouting report would be. He's sleight of build. His effort can wane at times, and one of the ways you get him out of that paint, just get into his legs, knock him out. Of course, he averaged last year, he averaged 4 and 3. And you look at his numbers this year, he's 14 and 9. He's leading the league in rebounding. He's got all the upside in the world right there.
Already 10 double-doubles this year for Christian Wood, which is 10th in the country. And he's become a much bigger focal point of this offense, with all 5 starters departing from a year ago. Final minute here at the Thomas and Mack Center in the first half.
This is big for Utah State.
And Collette again, that's too easy.
Right out of the timeout, really nice execution. You've got to keep this into single digits. Utah State, a team that can struggle to score. You don't want to go in down double figures into that second half.
Collette has 14 points in the first half. He averages 12 per game.
Stu Morrill just drawing something up in that timeout. His team comes out and gets a dunk.
In rhythm three for McCaw. And the shot clock is turned off with 20 seconds remaining. Utah State can hold for one. They don't. McCaw kicks it. And it'll stay with the Aggies. When leading at the half this year, Dave Rice's team is 5-4. And 9 times they've led at the half, have only finished the deal 5 of those 9.
Well, and here's the key, Andrew. If Utah State, they're going to hold for the last shot. If they can score here, that would be a 4-point run. Now, here's what we call a silent run. They get the ball to start the second half. So they have a chance to close out this half with 4. If they can score to start the second half, that would be a 6-point silent run. That's why this end of half to start half is so big.
Collette with 4 seconds, drives in, can't finish. 1 second to go. Kendrick just chucks one up. Dave Rice thought maybe there was a foul. And Dave Rice a little animated as he goes into the locker room.
So frustrating. Just a point-blank look for David Collette.
Well, that's the end of the first half with UNLV leading 37-29. Coming up, it's AT&T at the half with my guy, Seth Davis. There you go. You're watching Saturday Overdrive on CBS Sports Network.